Every time you tap your phone to pay, order a meal to your door, or let a digital service renew without a second thought, you are buying time. But that time comes at a premium, subtly eroding your personal wealth behind a veil of frictionless ease. We live in an era where instant gratification is the default setting of our economic lives. Yet, the true cost of this frictionless existence often goes entirely unnoticed until the damage is done. This is the convenience premium. It is the silent tax we pay for removing effort from our daily routines, transforming momentary ease into long-term financial drains. When you prioritize absolute ease over mindful spending, you inadvertently invite a host of microtransactions to chip away at your financial foundation. These are not massive, catastrophic losses, but rather a slow, steady hemorrhage of capital that prevents you from reaching your true financial potential. Consider the simple, everyday act of food delivery. A meal that costs $15 at a local restaurant suddenly becomes $28 after service fees, delivery charges, priority processing, and tip. That $13 difference seems negligible in the moment, easily justified as a fair trade for staying on the couch after a demanding workday. The convenience feels worth the immediate markup. Yet, when that behavior is repeated just twice a week, that invisible surcharge balloons into over $1,300 a year. Placed into a standard index fund yielding a historical average return, that same amount could grow into tens of thousands of dollars over a couple of decades through the power of compound interest. Compound interest is the process where the returns on your investments begin to generate their own returns, creating exponential growth over time. The true cost of that delivery was never just $13. It was the total forfeiture of your future financial freedom. The banking sector has mastered the art of packaging wealth erosion as a helpful, indispensable service. Overdraft protection is heavily marketed as a vital safety net, a compassionate way to avoid the embarrassment of a declined card at the grocery store checkout counter. It is presented as a courtesy, a buffer against the unpredictability of modern life. In stark reality, overdraft fees are one of the most aggressive hidden costs in modern consumer finance. A single $35 fee applied to a minor $5 coffee purchase represents an astronomical short-term interest rate. It punishes minor cash flow mismatches with severe capital penalties, disproportionately affecting those who are actively trying to build their savings. Protecting your wealth requires a deliberate act of disabling these automated so-called protections. By linking a dedicated savings account to cover shortfalls, or simply allowing a transaction to decline at the register, you introduce a necessary moment of friction. This friction forces immediate financial awareness and prevents a temporary lack of funds from spiraling into a cycle of punitive banking fees. High-interest credit cards operate on a remarkably similar psychological mechanism. The sheer convenience of immediate purchasing power completely masks the crushing weight of the annual percentage rate, or APR. Your APR is the yearly interest generated by a sum that is charged to borrowers or paid to investors. When you carry a balance from month to month, you are effectively paying a massive premium on every single item you purchased. That immediate purchasing power turns a discount sweater or an everyday grocery run into a luxury expense over the course of a year. The convenience of buying now and worrying later directly sabotages your ability to accumulate capital. It also damages your FICO score, the standard credit rating that lenders use to determine your creditworthiness, which in turn makes future borrowing for a home or business exponentially more expensive. This dynamic is not limited to individual consumer banking. It serves as the absolute foundation of the modern subscription economy. Major corporations have realized that recurring revenue models are far more profitable than traditional one-time sales. They build these models on auto-renewals, forgotten free trials, and seamless digital onboarding processes. These subscription traps rely entirely on our natural human inertia. We sign up for a premium streaming service, a specialized software tool, or a monthly box of curated physical goods, fully intending to cancel the moment the free trial period concludes. We believe we have outsmarted the system, extracting value without paying the toll. Human behavior consistently dictates otherwise. The friction required to navigate a convoluted cancellation process, often deliberately hidden behind multiple digital hurdles and confusing retention menus, keeps us paying for services we no longer utilize. These forgotten charges are not just lost dollars, they are active leaks in your wealth building strategy, quietly siphoning funds that should be working for you in the market. Conducting a ruthless, highly detailed quarterly audit of all recurring charges is a non-negotiable wealth management strategy. You must cancel everything you do not actively use on a weekly basis. Force yourself to actively repurchase services only when you truly, demonstrably need them. This simple act of introducing friction stops the automatic drain on your resources. The historical evolution of money itself has drastically accelerated this phenomenon of hidden costs. When transactions were conducted primarily in physical cash, there was a visceral, highly tactile reality to spending. You could physically see and feel your finite resources depleting with every single purchase, creating a natural psychological barrier to overspending. The rapid transition to digital wallets, invisible payment gateways, and contactless cards severed that crucial psychological connection. Swiping a piece of plastic or tapping a glass screen feels exactly identical whether you are spending $4 on a snack or $4,000 on a luxury vacation. The physical feedback loop of wealth depletion has been entirely eliminated. This digital abstraction of value makes it incredibly easy to ignore the steady accumulation of convenience fees. When the immediate pain of paying is removed by technology, our threshold for accepting hidden costs drops dramatically. This psychological shift allows financial institutions and retailers to siphon off percentages without ever triggering our natural defensive instincts regarding our money. Understanding this profound historical shift is absolutely crucial for anyone serious about building lasting prosperity. We must artificially reintroduce the friction that modern technology has deliberately erased. By creating deliberate, mandatory pauses between the impulse to buy and the final execution of the transaction, we regain control over our capital allocation. Even in the sophisticated realm of investing, the allure of convenience carries a substantial, hidden price tag. Automated investing platforms and digital robo-advisors offer a completely hands-off approach to the financial markets. They promise to manage your entire portfolio, rebalancing assets and reinvesting dividends for what appears to be an incredibly nominal management fee. While an annual management fee of 0.25% sounds practically invisible, its negative impact compounds over time exactly like your investments do. Over a 30-year investing horizon, that tiny fraction of a percentage point can consume hundreds of thousands of dollars of your potential returns. You are paying a massive premium simply to avoid the minor inconvenience of managing your own money. Taking the necessary time to learn basic asset allocation allows you to bypass these fees entirely. Asset allocation is the strategic method of dividing your investment portfolio across different asset categories, like domestic stocks, international equities, and bonds, to balance risk and reward. Armed with this knowledge, you can build a simple, highly effective, low-cost portfolio of index funds yourself. This approach eliminates the expensive middleman and keeps your capital working entirely for your benefit. The initial effort required to understand portfolio construction pays the highest hourly rate of any work you will ever do. True wealth building is rarely found in the path of least resistance. It demands active participation and a refusal to pay for unnecessary ease. Exposing these hidden costs is not about adopting a miserable mindset of deprivation or extreme frugality. It is the definition of radical financial efficiency. It means ensuring that every single dollar you earn is intentionally directed toward your specific life goals, rather than quietly enriching the vast, invisible systems designed to process your transactions. By providing actionable strategies to identify and ruthlessly eliminate these drains, you reclaim absolute control over your economic destiny. You transform yourself from a passive consumer, easily manipulated by the promise of ease, into an active architect of wealth preservation. The power shifts back to you. Start this transformation today by reviewing your last 3 months of bank and credit card statements. Highlight every single convenience fee, every forgotten digital subscription, every ATM surcharge, and every premium paid for a service you could have easily performed yourself with a few minutes of effort. Calculate the definitive annual total of those seemingly insignificant, isolated charges. The resulting number will likely shock you, revealing a shadow budget you never knew existed. But that shock is the catalyst for immediate, highly profitable change. That final number represents the exact amount of capital you can immediately redirect into aggressive debt reduction, emergency savings, or long-term market investments. It is the bedrock foundation of your new, highly efficient financial architecture. We are not just saving pennies, we are fiercely defending our future prosperity. By rejecting the expensive illusion of total convenience, you take a monumental, irreversible step toward enduring financial independence.